Here we have our app component. And in this app component, we have added one h1 element and one paragraph element. Now, if we go to the web page, you will see an h1 element and a paragraph element. Now, usually we use this app component as the root component. That means in this app component, we use other components as its child component. So basically, we create different components like header component, sidebar component, main area component, and then we nest all those components together in this app component, creating a UI. And that's why we call this app component as root component. It is the main component inside which we nest all our other components. And then we render this app component in index.js file. Now remember that this index.js is not a component. It is simply a JavaScript file. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create a new component, and then we will use that component as the child component for this app component. For that, inside this source folder, I will create a new folder and I'm going to call it components. So this folder is going to store all our components. And inside this components folder, let's go ahead and let's create a new file. Let's call it products.js. And inside this, just like app component, here we have a function with this name app. In the same way, we are going to create a new function and we are going to call this function products. And one thing you need to remember is that while creating your component, you should use the Pascal case notation. That means the first letter of each word in your component name should be in uppercase. For example, here we have only one word, which is products. So the first letter of this word is in uppercase. But let's say if your component name is product detail, in that case, it will be written something like this. So here in this name, we have two words. The first word is product and the second word is details. And the first letter of each word is in uppercase. This is called as Pascal case notation. So you should use Pascal case notation for naming your components. This is just a convention. All right, so let's call this component products. And from within this product, we need to return some JSX code. Let's use return keyword for that. And for now, let's simply return an h1 element. And here, let's say all products. All right, and finally, we also need to export this function from this products.js file. For that, we can use this export keyword, and we want to export this products function as a default. So again, let's use this default keyword and let's export products. And that's it. Let's save the changes here in this products.js, and we want to use this products component in this app.js. So let's go to this file. And the first thing here which we need to do is we need to import this products inside this app.js. For that, let's use this import statement. And here we want to import products from, and let's specify the file path of product.js. So it is in components folder, and then the file name is products.js. And again, we don't need to use the .js extension here. All right. Now, instead of returning this h1 element and this paragraph, I will remove this JSX code from here. And here, we simply want to use this products component. Now, how we will use that? We can simply use this products as an HTML tag. Something like this. Let's save the changes. Let's go to the web page. And now you will notice that it is rendering all products. So basically, this app.js is now returning this products component. Now, what does this products component returning? It is returning this h1 element. Okay, so when we are rendering this app component here, it is rendering this h1 element in the web page. All right. So this is how we create a child component and we use it in the parent component. Here, the child component is this product component and the parent component is this app component. Now, currently, we are simply returning an h1 element. But in the next lecture, Let's go ahead and let's return some complex JSX code.